Okay. You know what, Paul, we're going to stick with it. If there's anything else you need, let me know. Okay, great. That's good. No issues with audio. Thank you, everybody. So let's get into this. Thank you so much again for being here, everybody. Welcome to today's new features webinar. My name is Parker. I am a customer experience advocate here at monday.com. And we have a lot of amazing features to go over today. I would love to first introduce you to my amazing colleagues, Gio, Cooper, and Emily, who will be handling all of the Q&A today during the presentation. So I know you guys have probably had a little moment to settle in. You are one step ahead of me. Thank you so much for telling me where you are from. I'm seeing Austria. I'm seeing Montreal, Orlando, Florida, lots of things. As we're settling in, can you also tell me what industry you guys are in? That would be awesome. Texas, New York, I'm right there with you, Nicole. Philippines, Denver, education, Malta, stunning. You guys, this is going to be awesome. We've got people from all over the place. I'm seeing lots and lots of industries. Super, super exciting. And I think all of you are really going to love and profit from these new features that I'll be showing off today. Awesome. So again, let's do some housekeeping here. You should be able to see my screen and hear me. I know there was a little echo situation. Let me know if you can see my screen. We should be on a before we begin page. Let us know by writing in the chat box. Great. I'm saying thank you guys for telling me we're good to go. So if there's anything wrong, let us know in the chat. We'll get it resolved as quickly as possible. If you have any questions about what we're going through, any questions about the features, please put them in the dedicated Q&A box. It's right down there next to the chat box. That would be really awesome, because then after this demonstration, we're going to have a dedicated Q&A session where we will get through as many of the questions as we can. So you guys probably know how this goes. But again, today's session will be made up of two parts. We're going to do about half an hour, 40 minutes of a presentation. We'll see our new features in action and within a very special context. And then we will move to the Q&A. As I said, there are a lot of you today, which is super, super exciting. So we're going to get to as many questions as we can. As a reminder, you can watch an on-demand version of this demo at monday.com/webinars/on-demand. And you can always reach out to support@monday.com for any particular questions that you had. Again, yes, Kayla, you will have a recording of today's session within 3 business days. Hi from Switzerland. That's amazing. Okay, great. So guys, let's do this. Let's go ahead and look at today's agenda. We will be covering the following. We're going to start off with some form improvements. We're going to head over to our work docs. Then we're going to cover some new and awesome automations to power up your board. Critical path in Gantt for all of you project managers are going to be really awesome. Some widgets for reporting. Lastly, some admin features that are going to be awesome. And then everybody's favorite, the Q&A. Again, we are just about starting. Can everybody hear me and see my screen? Give me one more thumbs up. You're alive. It took us a while to get here. Amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. Totally appreciate it. Again, my name is Parker, and let's do this webinar today. I'm going to go ahead and share my board over here. Can you all see my monday.com board, our beautiful platform? Good to go. Thank you, everybody. Great. So to start, I do want to note that each of the new features today, we've got about 15 to cover. So this is super exciting. They all have a super wide variety of applications. So for this session, we've actually decided to use the example of a marketing campaign. I saw a couple marketing context in the chat below, but please do not worry if your use case, if your industry is not at all related to marketing campaigns in any type of way. That's okay. All these features can enhance your own workflows and can be used in your own contexts, which is super, super exciting. So this board right here that I'm seeing that I'm sharing over here is actually called Campaign Requests and Planning. It's from our new campaign, powerful campaign planning template, which you can find by adding in a board, going in here, and choosing from templates. So again, this particular template is called the Powerful Campaign Planning Template. But again, all the features that I'm showing you today can be used in your context. I'm just going to show you the functionality of each of them today. So let's do this. This template here is made up of 4 fully customizable views that we'll be showcasing today. Yes, Maria, I can zoom in. Thank you for letting me know. Let me see. Let me know if that's a little bit better on your end. I'm going to expand the screen as well. We definitely want to make sure you can see it. Okay, here we go. Great. So as I was saying, we've got this template that is made up of 4 fully customizable views that we'll be showcasing today as we run through our new features. So we've got the main table situation here. We've got our groups, we've got our items, all these columns that we know and love so well. I'm going to scroll down, show you everything that we've got. Then next, we've got this request form, which we'll be showcasing today as well to collect requests super efficiently. We've got a chart to visualize some data here. And we have the Gantt chart and view so that we can plan and schedule the campaigns with your team. So let's head back to the main table. Again, we're in the context of a campaign planning type of marketing situation. So thinking about the life cycle of a standard marketing campaign, we'll be going through the different stages and highlighting features as we go along. So we're thinking about initiation here. So where you can propose campaigns using our forms. So that's where we'll be bringing in forms. Our planning section, we'll be preparing outlines using documents in the files column here, and we'll be managing ownership and delegating using automations that I'll show you in a little bit. Development, campaigns that are happening, where you can use our critical path in Gantt to manage overlapping timelines and dependencies. We've got our live campaigns that you can use our execution, and anything that is set to close out, where I'll be showing you how we can do some reporting with some widgets. So let's dive right into it. As I mentioned, our first situation is with this request form. I'm going to show you some form power-ups over here. So in a marketing setting, we'll be receiving ideas from colleagues using one of our most popular board views, the forms over here. So for those that have not come across forms before, let's do a little refresher. Forms here are a view that you can add by going here on the plus button. Every column that you have set up here in your main table view will come through as a form. So basically you can transform any board into a form, and every column will automatically become a question. As we head into the form here, we can see that we can make some questions required. If we click onto them, we can hide them as well. And heading in here, I've got 4 new form features to showcase that will bring your forms to the next level. First off is related to this upload logo little button that we're seeing here. So if you are looking to fully customize your forms and even utilize different visuals within different forms, you can now add a logo to each form separately. So as some of you may know, previously admins could only determine a default logo for the entire account, and each form could not be customized. Now, this has totally changed. So you can now head into each form view, click Upload Logo, and pulled from your desktop will be a screen where you can upload any kind of visual you would like for ultimate customization. So if you've got different departments and their form, if you've got each member of your team has their own little logo and you want to showcase it, anything you want for maximum customization, now not only admins can customize, but anybody who's creating a form. So that is super, super exciting. That's the first feature. So we're heading on to the next. As I mentioned, each column on a table view corresponds to a question on the form. Up until this month, if some of you were aware, the location column was not actually supported in the form. So if I go over here, up until last month, if I had here a location column, it would not have been able to be viewed in a form. It just wasn't supported. So instead of kind of enabling this feature on a whim in some type of way, we stepped it up, partnered with many developers, and now I'm super excited to introduce the form location autofill feature. So I'm going to show you how it's done down here. We're going to scroll to our location column. We're going to click here. We're going to head to the 3 dots and we're going to click autofill location. So if you've got team members at different sites or are on location when you submit a campaign request, these are just 2 ways that you could utilize this feature. So for example, if we head into a form preview, as I mentioned, Jennifer and Elena, thank you so much. I see your request. We're going full screen. Let me know if that is helpful. Is this better? On your own computer? No? Yes? Let me know. Michelle, is this okay? Less helpful, too small. You know what? We're going to just go back. We're going to undo this. I'm going to zoom in a little more. Let me know if this is better here. Okay, this sounds like it's better. Okay, this is what we're going to go with, people. Sorry for that. But as I was saying, great. Okay, so we're heading into this location form. We've clicked the autofill option. If I go to preview the form, as I mentioned, you all know I'm in New York City. What will happen is when we go down to the location column here, we click after a second, your computer with geolocation will actually click your address and will format it into the location column automatically. So there we go. Super easy. If you have team members, again, for other at other locations, if you're thinking of something on site, you don't even need to figure out where you are. You've got your phone or your computer's autofill location, which you can click and enable right here. You can, of course, disable it as well if you would rather people search or input their own addresses. So that is form feature number 2. We're moving straight on back to our form view right here. We're all settled. Another little 3-dot situation we've got is a form date and time. So if we have a date column, for example, like we do down here, if you have ever wanted to ask for a time, for example, in this use case, a suggested time for a campaign kickoff, you can now incorporate not only a date question, but also a time question in a form using the date column. So again, you want to go in with the date column in mind. You're going to click on the question, head down to the 3 dots, and you're going to also include the time. Again, if we head into preview, which I'll show you here, scrolling down here, start your date and time, click the little calendar, and you have got all of the times available for you here to select. Amazing. Great. That'll make things a lot easier, more specific for you. Of course, again, if you do not want to include a time, you don't have to, so that is unchecked. We are heading into our last form feature to announce. We also now have autofill within Chrome browsers. So as you may know, Chrome is one of our most supported browsers. We really encourage our users to utilize the updated version of Chrome. And so you'll now get automated suggestions from your previous forms as you fill out Monday forms. We've gotten a lot of requests for this. And as you all know, we really love listening to our customers' needs. This should save a lot of time for filling out these forms. I'm going to show you it in action again. If we head to preview, you're going to double click a situation, then all of these things that you have already filled out in a form will be utilized, will be able to be clicked in, again, our Chrome browser. So that concludes our form featurette over here. We are going to now move to our planning phase. Remember, we're going to go back to our main table here. We've gone through initiation, how some requests could be processed. We're moving on to our planning phase, and we're going to highlight some new features within workdocs, which are a really great tool for your team. So they've been released in the past few months. Workdocs are really collaborative documents that you can can use for note-taking, brainstorming, imaging, and so much more. As you know, we can create them as standalone documents or within our files column. So if we want to create them as standalone documents, we go up here, add, and you can create a work doc up here, or you can go into your files column if you're adding a file and click a doc from here. So we've taken them up a notch with the ability to add comments in docs. Again, this is something that has been widely requested. We heard you all, and now all of the functionalities of our favorite update section are now incorporated into documents. So the same way you can with other kind of online platforms and comments in docs, you can now comment on specific content in a document, have a discussion around it, tag people and assign people and resolve it. So we're going to see this in action. I'm going to go ahead and click on this first doc that's in my planning. This campaign is called 5 Best Cycling Trails. We're going to click it over here. So in the context of this campaign with workdocs, and especially in our files column, is the perfect place to really draft a campaign proposal and utilize other board features as well. So if I'm going in here and I want to tag my teammate Key, again, we're in 5 cycling trails. I'm going to say, Key, can you check out these trails over the weekend? Got that as a comment. If I'm thinking, actually, let's see if this timing works, I'm going to hover over the content that I would like to comment on. It's going to pull up this bar menu here. We're going to scroll all the way to the right and we're going to go add comment. Right here, I can comment, I can mention others. I'm going to tag my teammate Andy and say, hey, Andy, does this time work for you? I want to comment here, and we're going to see the comment bubbles show up here on the right. Anybody can like this comment. I can reply. Andy can reply. We can also resolve it here. We've also got arrows to navigate between other comments if you have several. As I mentioned, you can resolve a comment once it's not relevant. For now, just to note, this is only available for the creator of the comment to do. So only I can click resolve on this comment at this time. But do not worry, we're excited to introduce a functionality for several people to be able to resolve these comments soon. So keep an eye out for that. There we go, highlighted there. We see the comments. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we're moving on to our next doc feature. Now, I'm guessing we have a lot of iPhone users in this group today. And if you are away from your desk and have an idea for one of your campaigns that you're working on, or if you receive comments after hours, you can now edit our wonderful workdocs from your iOS app. Anybody that's curious, you can pull it up now. Make sure you have got the most updated version of the app, and we're going to go through and you can edit our docs. Android users, we hear you. This is coming really soon for you as well. This functionality we are working on and should be released very soon. For our iPhone users, one more thing to note is that while we cannot create docs in our app yet, so you'll have to do that in our browser or in our desktop app over here. If you do have one created, you can edit them from your iPhone. You can see your last viewers and just tap edit to add text. I'm showing my screen right now, not showing my phone screen, but you guys are familiar with it. If you have any other questions, try it out in the meantime and ask in the Q&A. But again, iOS users, now you can edit docs on the go. Great to increase your mobility and all of these wonderful things. So great. You guys, we've covered docs, one of my personal favorite features we've got going here. So another way to power up our boards are automations. For those of you who have never used automations before, what are you waiting for? This feature really allows you to remove manual repetitive actions by doing the work for you. So again, we're in the planning stage. We're going to do some automation work here. Joe, I totally agree. Automations are amazing. So we're going to head up to our automation center, board power-ups up here, automations. We've got all of our static recipes. on the side here on the left. And then we've got our custom ones that you can go ahead and build up here. As we know, automations are made up of blocks, which represent triggers and actions, right? So with that, we've added new blocks within our custom automations that will give you a wider range of actions to choose from. So you can now, the first one that I'm very excited to share is that you can now create an automation where the action is a clear function. So for example, when a status changes to done, clear another column. So we support this on text, status, drop down, date, location, most of our columns. So let's see it in action. Let's go back to our board here and put this in context. So let's say that when a certain status, let's say for this platform, if a label is changed to say Instagram, let's clear this priority because it needs to be reevaluated. So this would be a situation where we could use this new automation that I'm explaining here. If we're trying to boost our visibility on social media, right? You want an automated removal of this low priority so that then you can take a look and add other information. So we're going to go into here again, create a custom automation over here. So the trigger, when a status changes, we're going to choose the platform. When it changes to Instagram, for example, we're going to go in here. We're going to search clear, and you can clear the column. You can clear any of the columns you would like. This includes texts, location, any of these columns that I'm scrolling through right now. Budget, the dependencies. This is going to be really, really helpful if you know that you need to clear information, need a clean slate based on a certain trigger. So for example, if we say clear the priority, I'm going to create this automation. Let's see it in action. We've got this first one here. Want to change the platform to Instagram, and we're going to see the priority clearing itself in just a second. Here we go. It's coming, people. Let's make sure we've got this automation all correctly set up. Whoops, we got our board automations over here. Clear priority. We're going to refresh. Everybody stay with us. Kristen, you are exactly right. We're going through. And there we go. The priority is cleared. So again, any input of information that you know you need a clean slate for, this would be a great automation for you. We're moving on to the next one. We're moving on to another automation that involves assign person. I saw a little note about it in the chat. Yes, so we can now choose between adding or replacing an assignee that's been in the people column, which is really, really great. So if you are assigning a project, if a particular campaign is switching teams after a certain action or a stage, this is a really great automation to utilize. So again, let's say that I've got my pal Key on this task. She's assigned here, but I want that when the status is changed to Facebook, my pal Andy is actually the Facebook expert. So I want him to be added or replaced, whatever you see fit, to this particular task. So we're going to go to our board power-ups again, moving to our automations, and we're going to create a custom one here. When this happens, so when a status changes, when the platform status changes to Facebook, let's say, then we are going to assign a person. You click right here, and then you can either choose to assign as in replace someone. So I could replace Key with Andy, or I could add an assignee so that they tag team it together. In this point, I'm going to add an assignee. Going to add my friend Andy as the assignee in the people column, again, when the platform is changed to Facebook. We're going to create the automation here. Amazing. There we go. And let's see it in action. Key is settled here. We want to see Andy added on to this project. We're changing the platform to Facebook. And we will see Andy added to this people column in just a second. I'm seeing comments in the chat about automations. Yes, you know, with sharing screen, with sharing Wi-Fi, sometimes they do take a little while, but there we go. We've got Andy added now onto this project based on this automation that we have stepped up in regards to assigning people. So awesome, awesome, awesome. We have added yet another automation feature. And then we will take a little break, make sure everybody's with me, but we're going to power through this next one. So in regards to the action and trigger language, we've just shown that the trigger is you know, the changing of a status, and the action is adding someone else to this assignee column. So we have shown, I'm about to show you our newest trigger here, which is when an item name changes. So this one has also been really long requested, and it's here. Thank you for all of the feedback related to this. Basically, this is how it's going to work. When anything about the item name changes or is edited, this can trigger an action of your choosing. So let's see it in action. If for the same 5 cycling trails situation, if I actually want to change this to say 7 or 8 cycling trails, but someone obviously needs to check that out, I could set up a notification. I could set up an email, a status change, any action based on the trigger of this item name changing. So let's go into our automations over here. Again, we're using the custom ones. Custom automations are really, really great. They just give you full flexibility for a lot of things. Create custom. So we're going to search here. When item name changes, then do this. Again, we've got all of our usual options. Clear assignees, duplicate group, all of the above. We're going to stick to a classic notification. I'm going to say, let's notify me as a potential manager over here. Notify me. And then we're going to say name change. Please check this out. So when item name changes, that's the trigger. We're going to set up the action to be a notification. We're going to create this automation here, and we're going to see it in action. So if this changes, for example, to not 5, but 10 best cycling trails, I'm hitting answer here. We'll see a notification come in on my bell in just a second as well. There it is up here, name change, please check this out. I click it, it brings me right to the item itself, and there you go. So again, this trigger can start any action that you'd like, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Okay, people, we are part of the way through. We've got a couple features left. How are we doing? I'm seeing a lot of great questions. As a reminder, please ask your questions in the dedicated Q&A box, and that would be super, super helpful. That way myself and my team can get through as many as we can at our dedicated little session at the end. Give me a thumbs up. How are we doing? What's your favorite feature so far? Would love to hear it as I grab a sip of water. Stunning. I'm seeing a thumbs up. Great. Great. I'm so glad, David. That's awesome to hear. Thank you all for telling me you are alive and well. Thanks, Annie. I really appreciate it. Okay, so the next one is kind of a big one. You project managers will love this. So everybody get ready. So we're heading down from our planning campaigns to our development over here. We have released a feature called Critical Path and our Gantt chart. So here is how it functions. For those of you in project management, again, and for those of you who might not know, we're going to head to our Gantt chart over here to show you Here it is. We've got our Gantt chart. This is what it looks like right now. I'm going to remove the new feature that I'm talking about over here. We're going to hide it for now. This is what our standard Gantt chart looks like. So a Gantt chart is a key schedule management tool for everybody that needs to see how activities in a project are scheduled against a timeline. So that's really, really exciting. You can see any visually dependent tasks with our dependencies with these little arrows and can work from the Gantt, and you can move activities in the Gantt as well where timelines change. So again, Van, you are exactly right. We have now introduced a critical path into our Gantt chart, which is an industry standard really for even better schedule management. So for those of you who may not be aware, let me give you a little bit of background on the critical path. So you saw a little preview. I'm going to go in, I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to show you our critical path feature here. We're going to go into settings, critical path, show right here. And what you will notice is a little bit of a color change in your Gantt chart. So again, what's up with the critical path, excuse me. So it's super useful to identify all the individual tasks that have to be completed to finish a project on time. Remember, we're focusing on how our activities and tasks are scheduled against the entire project timeline. So when identified, the project manager or whoever's overseeing will really have a clear picture of the actual completion time of the overall project. So why do we call it critical? Why is this what it's called? Why is this the industry standard called critical path? Very simply put, a critical task is anything that must be completed in order for the project to finish by a specific deadline and not a day later, right? So if any of the tasks on the critical path do not get completed or get held up for any reason, the entire project could be delayed. So the critical path on the monday.com Gantt chart, as you are seeing on my screen, uses red here and gray coloring to visually show the tasks that are critical tasks. So let's go back to our use case. We're going to go back to the main table. We have set up some dependencies here for certain larger campaigns to not overlap with each other. Again, we're going to show the arrows, but on our main board, these are what dependencies look like. They're a tricky little feature. I'm happy to go over them as well in the Q&A, but the dependencies that we have set up here is just making sure that these timelines don't overlap, that if anything is pushed back, subsequent tasks are pushed back as well. So we've got 4 campaigns that we're showing here. The second and third campaigns, which I'm showing you right here, the cycling trails and this ice cream flavor here, both rely on the first one. We can see that here that they are dependent on this first project. Stick with me, guys. So the last one we can see relies on this previous development task. We've got the dependency set up here, but we can see that nothing is particularly relying on this second campaign. We're not seeing any tasks relying on this cycling trail situation, right? This becomes very visual in our critical path. Let's see it in action. We've got our Gantt. Here we go. I'm minimizing this. You can now see as I scroll that for the timeline of the whole campaign, say this is over a month, I can see that this here completely affects the following 2 campaigns, vegan ice cream flavor and the other deals. This one, 10 best cycling trails, is not actually as critical. It's dependent here. We can see here, it's the next one that comes in line, but is it critical? No. If it gets skipped, is it going to change the whole path of the campaign planning? Not as much. So this is how the critical path in Gantt shows up with dependencies. As a note, if you do not have dependencies, if you just have several tasks shown up and you're utilizing the Gantt chart, which is also super, super valid, super, super helpful, the final task will be highlighted in red. I'm going to say that one more time. If you do not have any dependencies set up in your board, if you utilize our critical path, the final task will be highlighted in red and will be shown as the critical task. And this is because the only thing that could delay the completion of the project as a whole would be to delay the last task. Note that sub-items are also included in this feature, which is really, really awesome. But again, if you don't have dependencies, the last task will be highlighted as critical. We're going to go back and show you how to get there. Again, we're going to the 3 dots up here. We're going to go to settings. Critical path is on beta. So let's take note of this little message here. Again, as noted, this feature is on beta. So as we expand, this could be a feature that will require an extra tier or payment really, but we appreciate your understanding of this because it's what allows us to continue to do cool things. For now, it's available to all, but just so everybody is aware, that could change in the future. So thank you everybody for your understanding. What a niche little feature. Thank you. I'm going to take this opportunity again, if you have questions about this, which I'm sure you do, to please ask the questions in the Q&A box or write a longer question to support@monday.com. But there we go. That's the critical path feature in Gantt. Very niche, but as you've been seeing in the comments, super, super helpful. As I mentioned, industry standard, something that many people have been waiting on for a long time. And it is a wonderful, wonderful feature to utilize. There we go. Everybody, thank you for holding on. That was a long one. Again, any questions, please put them in the Q&A. I've got a stunning team answering them. Okay, so we are moving on to the last 3 features, everybody. Thank you for all that have stuck with me. Looking forward to answering all of your questions. We are going to be moving in to our reporting situation over here. For those of you who have not yet started reporting on monday.com, meet our dashboards. I'm going to show you an example of a dashboard over here. A campaign dashboard, truly a stunning, stunning feature on the platform. Dashboards really allow you to get insights from a single board or multiple boards to create visual reports, any kind of high-level overview you're looking for, and to highlight critical information. So dashboards are built using widgets. So each of these here that I'm scrolling over here, we've got the calendar, we've got a chart, we've even got an embedded Twitter feed and text here. Each of these are called widgets, which will help you show different metrics. So task or project progress, budget tracking, estimation, any kind of resource management. We truly have many, many widgets, which you can go ahead and add here and head to our widget center to see all of them. So with even more capabilities, we have added a new widget to our roster, which I am super excited to tell you guys about, called the map widget. So with even more capabilities, you can now add maps to a dashboard and show data in multiple boards, including sub-items, mirror columns, and more, all in one visual map. So remember, let's think back a little bit. I was talking about that location column that is now available on the forms. Well, maybe with the information there from the forms, I want to show in my report, in my dashboard, where all the requests are being made from, or where all of the different campaign sites should be going. So the map widget in our dashboard will allow me to do that. We're going to go up here. We're going to add a widget down to the widget center. It's in recommended. I'm scrolling down a little bit. And it's right here, view locations from your boards on a map. We're going to add this widget over here. There we go. Let me scroll down. Let me expand this one for you. We're going to squish some of these guys up so that we get a better view of this awesome, awesome widget. There we go. So let's go into the settings here because we need to zoom in a little more. We've got site, zoom level. You can zoom in from 1 to 22, just kind of mess around there. We're going to zoom in to 14. Great. So we've got one location on my map. Let's go back to our board view, add a couple locations, and see how this is done. So again, we're going to head back to our other board. We're going in here. As some of you are, and as I am, I'm in New York City. So let's add some New York City landmarks so we can see them around. We've got the Chrysler Building for a potential campaign. Let's do also Times Square, classic. For anybody in Brooklyn, crazy. We're going to go with Dumbo. And here we go. Just as an example, we're heading back to our dashboard now. We're going to scroll down. We're going to find our map here. We can zoom out with your trackpad, any of your native computer features, and we will be able to see our different locations. If we click one here, we've got here the name of the group and the name of the item linked with the location from the location column from the site, from whatever you choose to name it. From our location column, you've got the information all here. Same here for the Chrysler Building, for example, we've got our group name and our item name over here. So really a great way to see where your team members are, where different campaigns want to launch. You can, of course, have a map that's global, which is super exciting for some of our larger use cases and companies. This is really exciting. And I'm super excited to share it with you. So this is the map widget. There we go. Remember, it utilizes our location column, so make sure you have that lined up in your boards. Within widgets, within our dashboards, I have got another feature to showcase that is a game changer. So everybody hang tight. I've already seen some comments about it in the chat. But something that's been very requested that I'm excited to share is now the ability to export all of our dashboards to PDFs for even better sharing. So really amazing. If you haven't built a report using monday.com dashboards or the dashboard view yet, I really recommend it. We've got this situation here to export a dashboard, to send it to other people, to post it on any kind of forum and work situation. We're going to head up to share here in beta, export to PDF. 2 notes. I know I'm seeing all your comments. This is super exciting and something that we have been working on perfecting for a very long time. There are 2 very important things for me to note here. So first off, the more widgets that you have, the more time the PDF will take to load. And the more time the PDF will take to kind of rearrange itself, you might have to try downloading a few times before it comes up with exactly the right layout for you. With that, also please make sure that all of your widgets are completely loaded in the dashboard before printing. This will ensure that everything exports correctly, that you'll be able to really simply and efficiently share this with other people on your team. So again, please remember this feature is in beta. We are constantly working on it. Any feedback that you have about it is, as always, super appreciated. Our team is still working on it. It's going to take some adjusting to make sure it is absolutely perfect, but play around with it and see what fits your needs, and we will go from there. Again, any feedback is super helpful, but we can now export widgets to PDF, which is super awesome. Thank you everybody for your great words on this. Totally agree. Super exciting. As a reminder, we're getting closer and closer to the Q&A. Please ask all your questions in the dedicated Q&A box. It's right next to the chat. I can show the PDF. Yes, absolutely. Might as well. Let me see if I will be sharing the right screen. We're going to go down here. We're going to go to share. We're going to go to export. And here's the PDF once it exports now. So we can see it's not perfect. We need to zoom out a little bit, but we've got a lot of the basics here that are ready to go. Again, we're working on it. You'll need to do a little bit of adjusting depending on your screen resolution and your zoom. I would recommend zooming out a little bit more. But here we go. Easy, simple. In about 2 seconds, we've got a PDF that you can then share with your team. Okay. We are coming to the home stretch, everybody. I have one more feature to show you, and then I am ready to get all of your questions. Before we jump to the Q&A, something that's also very cool, very, very requested. I'm going to show you this feature in action. We're going to go back here to our workspace left-hand panel. You can now color your folders. This is going to make distinguishing between different folders on your left pane a lot easier. What a great and functional feature that has, again, been super, super requested. So we're going to head down here. I've got my powerful campaign planning folder. We're going to click the three dots, change color, choose any color that you would like. We're feeling a pink moment here. Now the text will show up in the selected color. So please note that it's for anybody who sees this folder that can change it, right? So we don't have quite admin permissions yet. If this is something you would like to see right in, I can absolutely do it again, Cheyenne. We're going to click the three little dots here, right under rename folder, we see change. If we feel like blue, then the text of the folder here, when we collapse it as well, is going to be in the selected color. So remember, this is for anybody in the workspace. Anybody that can see the folder is able to change the color here. Wonderful, extra customization. We love to see it, Courtney. This is released to everybody now. So you should be able to see it, and please write into support@monday.com if you're not seeing it. But this is really awesome, and really was happy to end our little presentation on that note. So people, we're heading back to the presentation. We're moving here to the Q&A. This completes our new features part of the session. Thank you all so much for all of your time, all of your patience, all of your questions. Thanks for sticking with us. And here we go. Again, huge, huge thank you to my team members, Gio, Emily, and Cooper, for handling questions during the presentation. And now we can move to the official Q&A. Very transparently, there are a lot of you on this Zoom, which is super, super exciting, but we won't be able to get to all of your questions. So please remember that you can always write in to support@monday.com for personalized 24/7 support. Again, we are going to get to as many of the trending themes and questions as we can, and I really appreciate your understanding with that. Amazing. I'm going to grab a sip of water. Thank you for all of your comments. Great, great, great. Here we go. We're heading into the questions. We're going to pick some here. We go. We've got 61 answered questions. As a reminder, you will get this recording sent to you in the next 3 days, so no worries there if you have to run. It was a pleasure speaking to all of you. We're going to go into some of the questions now. Great. I'm seeing a lot here. Kathy, that's a wonderful, wonderful tip. Okay. Mia, we're going to go here. We're asking a question about the assigned automation, right? So remember my pal Key and Andy. Andy was the Facebook expert. Let me go back here to show you what I was talking about. We're going to go back into our board. Oops, over here. So if Andy gets assigned via this automation, he will get a notification here. So the same way that a usual assigning person columns functions, the same way he'll be able to comment in a document, he will get notified that he has been added to this, and then Key and Andy can tag team that and let me know if that answers your question. Yes, Jonathan, the same thing. Yes, so the people will be notified if they have been assigned. Great, great, great. Okay, so I'm seeing some people ask if Gantt can be exported to the to PDF. So at this time, let's head into it. We're going to go over here. It's not something that we have a native export to in and of itself. If we add it, for example, in a dashboard, which I can show you here, we're going to delete this wonderful little map that we've been using. If we add it in here, we can export it with the rest of the dashboard. So technically you could have a dashboard just with the Gantt view or the Gantt widget and then export it that way. It is something that we're working on. But for now, just add it into a dashboard and you will be good to go. We're seeing also some question about docs and docs templates, which are really, really awesome. So let's go back here and let me show you some of the awesome features within our docs. So remember, we were looking at planning over here. We're heading over to our docs. If you would like to add a doc, let's review that. So going in here, new ice cream flavor. Let's plan out those flavors. We're adding here and we're going to add a doc. You can add something from your computer, something from Google Drive. You can now add a doc directly in from your files column. We're going in here. Something that's really, really awesome is that you can already connect a doc that is in a different board or a different workspace. So really going to increase that transparency, making sure that everybody is on the same page. Any edits that you make on one side will be transferred as well. We can add a new doc, which is on its own, and we can also add doc templates, which are super exciting. I'm going to click them here and we're going to show this here. So right now I don't have any technically saved, but the way that you can save one, as I'll show you right here with this one, we're going to go in here, 3 dots. Whoops, sorry, over here, I mean. We go to doc templates right here. You can learn how to create them over here. If you save them as a template, you can go in and click this little icon the same way that you can actually make templates from different boards that you have. You can also create them in docs. I'm going to send this link in the chat if anybody is interested on how to create these templates. Whoops. Or just head into our help center, right into support@monday.com for any additional support with doc templates. They're really, really exciting. You can have a lot of information already laid out. Always remember that you can also add snippets of boards, other kinds of columns and things within our docs. And we have some great information about docs in our basic webinars and on our website. Thanks so much for all of those questions. Great, let's head to some more of them. Matthias and Barry, remember to ask your questions in the Q&A. That would be super, super helpful. Jamie's asking about automations that we can use on a given board. Is it dependent on our plan? So yes, if we head over to our plan page, which as a reminder is monday.com/pricing. You can see the different plans that we have. Why is my board in Spanish? Amazing for any Spanish speakers that we have here. So we're going to move it to English. You can see if we scroll down here, you can see how many automations and actions you have per month depending on your plan. So you can set up as many as you would like, but remember that every time an automation triggers, that will account for 1 action. So if you are on our standard plan, for example, 250 would be the maximum number of actions you could execute per month. If you go into a higher plan, you will have more actions on that. If you have any questions about this, any comments, or need any help with knowing how many automations you have set up, you can always write into support@monday.com, and we would be happy to provide you personalized 24/7 support for any other questions that you have related to this. Great. A lot of questions about Gantt chart to PDF. As a reminder, we can just create them in a dashboard and then export that way. So for anybody wondering about that, great question. You can just export them with the new feature that I just showed. Export docs, Liz is asking. This is also something that we're working on, so coming soon. Thank you for your patience. Amazing. We've got about 10 more minutes. I'm going through your questions. Thank you so much for all of your understanding. Mike is asking a question about our critical path feature, which again is a pretty niche one. So we can definitely go over that. I'm going over to our Gantt feature here, asking if we can select forward pass or backward pass scheduling. Not at this time. So the closest thing, again, would be our ability that we have had in other Gantt charts to just drag and drop a lot of the tasks that we have within the Gantt chart, which will also then be reflected in our main table view. But for now, that's not something that's coming. But that is great feedback. And we'll potentially work on that. I will definitely pass that along. But again, the main way to do the forward pass or backward pass scheduling would be just to drag and drop the tasks that we have and to mess around with that, which will also come off in the main table view as changing for timelines. Amazing. Great. James is asking if there's an integration to allow putting files into forms in Dropbox. We check out our integrations. If you head up here, you'll see a lot of our integrations. We do indeed have one with Dropbox, and there is a possibility to pull them from our file. Oops. If we're adding a new file from Dropbox, you can indeed upload them from that. If you have other questions about our automation, I would go into our Help Center, which as a reminder, you can click right here, the little question mark, go into our Help Center, search anything that you're looking to. We do have several articles on that integration, which could be helpful. And again, feel free to write into support@monday.com for any specific questions. James is asking about email automations with Gmail, if it will send an email automatically. James, great question. So again, similarly to the Dropbox, I would encourage you to go up here to our integrations, check out Gmail, which is up here, and select all the different integrations that you can add. So yes, you can have a trigger be a status change or every time period to send out an email. This is also something that I would write into support about for more information, just because it isn't exactly related to the features that we've covered today. But please remember that you can always go into our support email and to check out our support articles that we have about Gmail. It's a super widely used feature. It's very efficient and will really one up all of your automations and your correspondences. So I would encourage you to check it out here. Here are all the different options that we have for integrations with Gmail related to automations. But again, write into support@monday.com for any questions that you have, and check out our article on our Gmail integration on our website. Amazing. Thank you all for your questions. These are great. And my apologies for not getting into all of them. Remember, you can always write into our support email and we will get back to you very quickly. We're also getting some more questions about sub items, which are some of my favorite functionalities in the platform. As a reminder, they add a little bit of granularity to your tasks. You can add different tasks and subtasks within a main item. We can add them right here by clicking on this little dog ear under here, clicking the item, which then will show up right under here. In terms of automations, you can definitely go in, add a new automation, and see which ones are related to sub items by scrolling to our static automations on this side and seeing all of the ones that are related to sub items. We've got this one here, and remember you can also create your own and see what automation you are looking for that needs sub items, which is really, really great. If you have any questions or need help setting up a custom automation, you can always write into our support email as well. Amazing. We're moving right ahead. We are also getting a question from Lucia about how to go back to the old board style. So yes, this is a great question. As you guys have seen, we've done some new changing of our UI, of our visuals, which has been really exciting, but some people are preferring the old style, which is totally great. So Lucia and a couple other people, to disable the new experience, we're going to go here. We see this little thumbs up shaded in the bottom right corner. If you would like to go back to the old board views, we go back here and you can click disable new experience. Also here you can share feedback. You can see what's new the same way you can on the bottom left here. But if the new UI and experience is not for you, we totally understand, which is why we wanted to give you the option to disable it over here. So this is where you would go and click. Lucia and others, I hope that that helps. Great, great, great. Oh, you're right. Thank you all for getting me back on this template and workdocs train. I'm going to go back and send over that link. As a reminder, if you would like a doc from a template, check out this link that I am sending in the chat right now. Okay. Amazing, guys. We are coming into our last 5 minutes. We're going to go through as many questions as we can. Gabriel is asking, what is the best way to combine board data into a single dashboard? Let's head back into our dashboard over here. You can go up here and select as many boards as you would like. Oops. Let me send that link one more time. Thank you guys for letting me know. Let's see if this works this time. Can everybody let me know if you see that link? I think that should be working now. Thank you all for bringing that to my attention. Thank you to my awesome team for letting me know about that. Gabriel, we're heading back to our dashboards for the last 5 minutes. So you can add as many boards as you would like up here by clicking choose boards. Right now, I just have the one set up in our workspace for the purpose of this demo. But if you have other boards that you would like to add, you can go up here again, top left-hand corner and boards. I can see that I only have one selected this time. You can select as many others as you would like that would then pull in data into this dashboard. Then you can add widgets by going up here to our widget center, add as many as you would like. And then in each customized widget, you can always go in. I'll show you the example with this one. Settings. So this is a chart widget, for example. We're seeing some high priority and low priority using a pie chart. You can also go down and add multiple boards into one widget. So this works for a lot of really interesting data to collate. Remember, dashboards are great for high-level overviews to send them over to other people that don't need all the information from your board. So this is really, really a great spot for reporting. And so you can definitely add as many boards as you would like. Also down here when working in a specific widget. Great, great, great. So we've gone through, and as a reminder, we can go up here and click share, export to PDF, which is how you can PDF this dashboard. You can also share it and share links to other people. Remember, there's also a view and edit panel that I forgot to mention. It would be ideal if you go into your view and print, just gets a little bit more streamlined and you don't see the little editing buttons. So that would be super great to remember as well. But otherwise, the way to share it, export to PDF, which as a reminder is still in beta at this time. All the form features are already live, Florian. I'm seeing a couple questions about that. You should be all set to go. As a reminder, the form features that we went through are the following. We've got the Chrome autofill. We've got the location autofill. We've got the upload, and we've got the date and time. All of those should be out to everybody at the moment. If you're not seeing those in any way, then please do write in to support@monday.com and we will help you get that all figured out. As a note, conditional forms, which we're getting a couple questions on as well, those are only available to ENT. And I can show you, by ENT, I mean enterprise accounts. Those would be conditional questioning, which we're not going to go over today, but just as a reminder, if you do have an enterprise account, you can do conditional forms, which I can show you a little bit of quickly right here. If we go in and we want to add a question to be, you know, I'm not even going to show it to you today because it's mostly for our enterprise customers, and that's totally fine. But if you have any questions about that, you can also check out our support article or write in to support@monday.com for conditional forms. But all the other new features that we've covered today should be out to everybody. Great. Thank you so much, Jamie, Jonathan. Great to have you here. And we have come to time. Guys, what an hour it's been. What some crazy features that we have covered. Thank you all for your questions. As a reminder, you will get this recording within the next 3 business days with video and audio, all of that good stuff. And you can go through it as many times as you would like. Right now, we've come to the end. I want to thank my amazing team, Gio, Cooper, and Emily, for helping out. And thank you to all of you for being here. This has been really great. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. As a reminder, any questions you can direct to our support email. And this is Parker for the monday.com team signing off. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are. This has been great, and we will see you at the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much. Yes, yes, yes.